Hey everyone, it's Jeremy with Hard to Master, and today we're going to take a look at the episode 2 of Vengeance Roll and Fight. And I do not have episode 1, but from what I understand, they play the same. It's just going to have a different setup of the dens that you're going to use and the different characters and bosses and items and everything that's related to that character. But I can tell you that I'm excited about this game, and I would prefer to play episode 1 also. I may get it just so I can try out the different bosses, the different dens, and the different characters. So basically, this is a roll and write game. It's called Roll and Fight because you're actually going to be fighting the different henchmen or minions that are in this den. So the game box is going to come with 4-player boards because you can play it solo or up to 4 players. And there will be 10 dens essentially. You can play either side. So there's 5 boards with 2 different sides, and you'll see they go up from all the way up from 11 to 20 because the original episode 1 is going to be the dens 1 to 10. And on this board, they're all going to be set up different. So they all have the same boss track at the bottom, and I'll throw images up on the video so you can see a little bit better. But all of the bosses are going to be the same, and you're going to circle actually based on the boss card that you're dealt. You're going to circle that many hearts. Each one has a different setup of where the rooms and doorways are set up, as well as which henchman and which boss, where they're located. Everything, the objectives are going to be a little bit different and where they're set up. The different loot spaces that you would clear out and go and try to take out the bad guys so you could get loot. So that's kind of what a den is going to look like. Every character is going to pick one, so you'll let each person pick which one they want, and everyone will actually have a player board as well. On your player board, you do have starting attacks and abilities that you're going to use, and you can gain these ability tiles that will give you different combos that you can create to move throughout your den and clear out bad guys and collect loot. Then you also have a training track here, a health track, a loot track. Right here is where you'll have different items, and so they're the blue backed tiles. They're going to go on there, and they'll allow you to charge them up and then use them when you're doing the attack phase. And at the bottom, you will collect your score. So this is a roll and write game. As you can see, you're going to be marking off different spaces on the board using this, utilizing the benefits that you get, and then spending them to get ability tiles and loot and upgrade your health. Because you do not want to get knocked out. If you get knocked down and beaten, then you're going to actually have less die to use in your roll phase to create these combos. So you don't want to have that happen, which it is said that it's very rare that it can happen. And in the games that I've played, it's only happened, and one person had a little trouble understanding the rules at first, and so that's how they were to get beaten 2 times and actually removed from the game. But the rulebook says it's very rare for that to happen. So the chance of you to get beaten and knocked out of the game is pretty rare. And so what's going to happen on these boards, you're marking out these spaces, and whenever you get to the leftmost space, whatever you have revealed as far as point totals, those will go on the bottom here. You can see points range anywhere from 0 points all the way up to 20, 30, I guess, if you're really killing it. So everybody's going to have one of these. Everybody's going to have a marker. Everybody's going to have your ability tiles that are set to the side that you can upgrade to create better combos, and you will have these item tiles that will be on there. And again, I'll post images so it's a lot clearer and you can actually see how it would be set up. In addition to that, you're going to have your player character piece, which will actually start on your starting space on the den. So if I was with this den, my character starting space would be here, and I would be utilizing my dice and my different abilities to move through. Starts off with a flashback phase though, because every character, and I've not played the original Vengeance game, I haven't had the opportunity, but it seems like it'd be a lot of fun because it's kind of like Kill Bill, the board game. Essentially, this game gives you that feel, at least, that you're a character that's had some trauma and you're trying to get vengeance. And One neat thing about this game is the character abilities are actually like hindrances. So it's not like you get this bonus that helps you out. It's actually a bonus that makes it tougher for you. So for instance, Reverend Gray here, he actually is limited to a max 2 charges on each item. So he can't just load up his favorite items and then just wham, bam, bam. He can only max 2 on them. Runa Bolt, I've played every character here, and Runa Bolt is actually she has the tough guys, which are the green characters, minions on the board, and these tough guys they actually take 2 health to remove from your board and mark them off. And they don't usually hit you. It's the red henchman that hit you, or a boss, or an adjacent gunner that's going to attack you at the end of the round. And if you have her green tough guys, if they're in the same space with you, they actually hit you as well. So these are pretty cool because it makes it tougher and it makes it quite different in how you play the board. In addition to that, you will have a boss which will randomly select, and there's several boss cards in the game. 9 bosses per this box, and I assume there's 9 in the other box. But for instance, Roxy Queen here, she has 6 health, so you would circle 6 health spaces on the bottom of the board. And then while Roxy Queen is alive, anything that would wound, that would heal, wounds, heals 1 fewer. So minimum of 0. Let's see another one. I like the Prez. So the Prez, he kind of, if you have Reverend, what's his name, Reverend Gray? Yeah, Reverend Gray. The Prez is really not good for him because while Prez is alive, you are limited to max 1 charge. So if you had that combo, that might be a little tough because it's making it worse for you. The Bato Man, during setup, you're going to draw additional bad guys on your board. So you're going to draw the grunts in your board in every room where there's a star, so a loot. And that means you're having additional bad guys to take out before you can create that loot. Another thing is if you have a grunt in a space with your boss, you can't attack the boss until you take out that grunt. So the bosses are going to change it up for you every game. The 4 characters are going to change up, and the combination between those is going to make it pretty different. And then you throw in the different setup of the den board, and it's really different. The 4 games that I've played have been very different, vastly different between which hero I had and the trauma that they faced, in addition to which bad guy was on the board, the boss, and I've had to adjust for that gameplay style. And then the board, because some rooms are set up where every room in that den is connected. And then there's some where you are literally taken down a certain path and you have to get through that to get to where the things you want to complete. Now, you don't have to complete everything in the game. You don't have to complete all the you don't have to kill the boss. You just get more points for if you do. And if you take them out, then you are going to get additional points. So it's a real nice push and pull of I need to do this, but I only have this many actions. My combos weren't that good, and I need to get as much done and not get hit as hard. And so there's some really tough decisions at times, but it's really a lot of fun. And I will tell you, and I even told Mighty Boards whenever I first asked them, hey, are you needing reviewers for this game, which they kindly sent us a copy to review. I said, I'm not a big roll and write fan, and I'm really not a big real-time fan either. And surprisingly, they actually sent it to review, and I don't know if that was to maybe change my mind, but I really like both of the aspects in this game. I think that the roll and write aspect of taking the bad guys off the board and moving throughout that way, I really like that. And a lot of times, and even one of my friends said, well, when rolling the dice, I could have cheated. I could have just kept rolling my blood symbols, because when you roll blood, you can't re-roll that dice. There's blood on the die, there's movement on the die, there's knives, double knives, and then there's a gun. And when you roll, you can't re-roll the blood symbols. And some ability tiles will have you collecting the blood dice so you can create a combo that way. But standard in most, unless you have that tile, blood's bad because it's going to limit the die that you roll, because you're rolling these 4 die, and you're trying to create these combos. And if you can't complete the combo and you just keep rolling blood, well, you're going to have to put that blood on the board. But if you roll one blood and you roll the rest and it makes a combo, you could get rid of that one blood that you rolled. I know it's a little confusing. I'm not doing a full, how to play video, but essentially you want to create combos and only roll maybe one blood unless you have that ability tile that you're going to use a lot of blood. Now, when you use those tiles, you are going to wound yourself anyways, but they're usually pretty strong in the attacks that you can do because you're like just berserker mode trying to take things out. But you really want to create these combos. But the thing is you may have a plan of kind of where you want to go in the den, but everybody else is trying to use the same pool of dice. There's 46 die in the full lot. So if you're playing with four people in the game, there's 46 die out there. You're using 4 at a time, trying to complete combos, and it's real time. And talking about real time, I think that it works great in this game. I really don't like real time too much, but I think the fact that you're in a brawl and you're in a fight trying to clear out this den and take out these bad guys while trying to survive and not get too damaged, I feel like it just works so well. And that's why I told my dude, I said, these aren't two mechanics that I enjoy that much. But I think that the theme and the way that if you look at it as you're going through and trying to brawl and, you're just having to react a lot of times, I think that plays so well to this game. Because once the last die are pulled and you can't create, get more to create a combo, that rolling phase is over. Now you're taking those combos, and you can do the same ability more than once if you've rolled that combo over and over. But you also have to be careful because you can choose not to take any more die because you've rolled really bad and rolled a bunch of blood symbols. And that's happened to me before where I've had all and I'm like 1 away and I'm like, well, I can do what I need to survive this room that I'm in and not get attacked to get beaten down. So I'm going to just stop here because I've rolled so poorly this round. But then the next round you may roll super well. And I just love the way that everything feels like it would be if I was watching Kill Bill or anything, and you're watching how they react in the fight, and you get hit, and then or even a drunken master like Jackie Chan and things like that. You're just reacting to the hits that you're getting, and so you may have this plan going in when you're rolling a die, but that's not going to happen for you. A lot of times you just try to get the combo to get rid of that blood so you get more die, and yeah, you may roll extra move that you don't need, but you've helped preserve your character. I find that very good. The trauma of the hero, I find that very interesting, and that the boss having an additional hindrance to you, which is going to make the game very different depending on which den, which boss, and which hero you have. So, and then after you're done with the fighting phase, you're going to go through the resolution phase where you may have a item tile that you get to act, or some other upkeep type of thing. You're going to take the wounds from the people adjacent to you and get beaten down if you get beaten down. You also collect that loot if you cleared a room and went into it. And then you can spend that loot for health points or any of the flashback bonuses that you're getting at the beginning of the round, which could increase the training or give you, a charged item. If you roll a lucky star, then you could gain loot from that, or you can do the health. And you'll get 3 choices there, but then you'll also get an automatic of 1 option, but you cannot choose the loot because it's not printed. You have to roll the die to get the loot. So all that, you'll do that 4 rounds. After the 4th round, you're going to total up. And as you can see, and like I said, I'll post some images, you're going to calculate how many hits you had on the boss. If you took the boss out, you're going to calculate your training, whatever you have the most marked. Then you'll look at any loot. So if you had collected 2 loot stars and you didn't spend them on anything else, well, then you would get 1 point because that's the leftmost space that's not marked. And then any den objectives. So for instance, this objective here says if you go through 9 rooms, because every time you go into a room, you're going to put an X in that top left corner. And if you were to go through 9 rooms and then come into this room after completing the requirement of that objective, you would circle this 6, saying you're going to get 6 more points. So each board is going to have up to 4 den objectives that you could complete. The last thing is, at the end of the game, you're going to trace whichever path you want that's going to get you to the exit with the least amount of rooms that have standing henchmen or minions in there. So if I was like trying to get back here and maybe I got to here and I didn't get very far because I was rolling bad or whatever, but I would look, do I have any guys still standing here? No. Oh, I had one tough guy still standing here because I evaded him. Well, so that would get me -1 point because I had one room with a minion still standing. So you're going to trace back whichever path you want in your den to the starting point at your escape. And if you have any minions still standing, or even a boss, any room that has a minion or bad guy still standing in that room and not taken out, it's going to get you -1 point per room, not per minion in that room. So you calculate that up, and that would give you a score. As you can tell, I really like this game. I don't even really like rolling rice. I feel like one of my friends said, he said you could cheat. And I said, there's no checks and balances, right? Because most games, there's a checks and balances system where I see how you do your action, and I say, oh, well, you can't do that because that's not, you can't do, that's not in the rules. You made a mistake. Which in rolling right, so many times I've seen where people make a mistake, and most of the time, they're little mistakes, or they chain a little bit, unless you're playing like Hadrian's Wall and you get like 6 or 7 bonuses because one thing was wrong. You can't really take all that back, and there's no checks and balances. So that's a thing with rolling rice that I find is tough. I think they're really good if you do solo, and I've played this solo. I really like the solo in this because you don't have to worry about anything else. There's actually easy, medium, and hard mode where you can pick a certain number of dice, whether you want easy, medium, or hard. You're going to pick a timer, and you're going to set that timer. When you start rolling, you're going to start it. When the timer's over, you're done rolling. That's the real-time aspect of it, since no one's taking the dice from you. And then you can do your score as an easy, medium, or hard, depending on what your final score total is. So there's those 3 changes. There's the 9 bosses. There's the 4 heroes, and there's the 10 dens. So if you're a solo gamer, I think this is a really good solo game. I enjoyed it solo, and I can't wait. You know, this one I look forward to getting back to solo because it's pretty quick. It's about a 30-minute game. When you're playing, it's not super long, and even when you're playing with people, it's about 45 minutes. So it's not super long. If you're playing with other people, like one friend said, and like I know in most rolling nights, you could have a situation where there's no checks and balances, so someone may have messed something up. But I feel like with this one, it wasn't too heavy on that. You can't you're not going to clear out half your board usually in one turn, so unless it's later on in the game. So it's not anything that I think you chain too much of on this game. Yeah, somebody may sneak a blood on accident or on purpose, but you're too busy rolling your die, and you may catch them out of the corner of your eye. It's not anything I was focused on when playing the multiple games I played of it, but my friend did bring it up, and I mean, he loved playing Hadrian's Wall and stuff, and I call him out on the mistakes that he accidentally made in Hadrian's Wall and how that chained so much. And it was a good time for me to incorporate what I've said, that the checks and balances in a rolling right game, because of the simultaneous, and you're writing on your own board and focused on your own stuff, there's no checks and balances. So you could get off track. That's with any rolling right game, but I felt like this one wasn't too bad. I love the theme of the game, and it felt lighthearted. Yes, you're fighting and vengeance and taking these bad guys out, but it was like a fun theme that I wasn't worried about who's doing what and this and that. I just roll my dice, complete my combos, boom, 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 man, I killed it this round, or boom, 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 I about died this round. Real time, I don't like real time usually, but I really like how taking the die and making me react on which combos I want to do based on what I have left to use and how I'm getting hit here with these blood dice. So a lot of really good things. Even the tiles that you have for your character are going to be varied based on which character you have, and it's going to play to their style. So I really like each character. I really like how the bosses switch it up and everything. So this game for me, which is crazy because I told you I don't like those mechanics so much, but I love them in this game. So for me, this game is going to come in at I'd say probably an 8. And I know you're thinking, well, that's pretty high. I just really think this game is so much fun. I like that I can play it in about 30 to 45 minutes with 4 people. So it's one that I can easily get to the table afterward. The way that there's so much variety in this game with the 10 different boards, 4 different heroes, and then 9. I mean, the combination of all that is, there's so many different options. And then you can get episode 1, which I'm really thinking about going and picking up episode 1 just so I can mix in the 4 or 5. I don't know. I think it's the same amount of heroes, 4 heroes, 9 bosses, and 10 more boards, and seeing, and mixing them. I'm pretty sure you can mix them. Based on what I've seen, so I'm interested in doing that. I don't even know, you might even be able to get an 8-player game going. I don't know, maybe that's possible because you would have 4 more player boards. I didn't even think about that, but I'll put in the comments when the video goes live if I found out any more info on that. But I think this game is really good. I think it's like I said, a game I can get to the table very often, and there's a lot of replayability, and it's just fun. It's a great theme. I like the Tarantino movies, and so that theme is great, and I just really like this game. So if you can't tell by now, it's definitely one that if you're a solo gamer, or if you love roll and write or real time, I think you would really like this game, and definitely check it out. Look at more videos or look on BGG and see if it's for you. But I think you would. If you're someone that doesn't like roll and write and you don't like real time, there's a chance. Like I said, I really am not a big fan of those mechanics, and they're not my favorite games. I get them and I play them, and I just feel like that's a checks and balance thing. Or I like to think about my actions more than just quick reaction. But with this one, with the theme of fighting, I think it's great. And so if you're someone that doesn't like those mechanics, I'd look at some more videos, maybe watch a gameplay of it. I think you may like it still. I do, but that's me. So I know an 8's probably pretty high for a roll and write game and a real-time game for me, but I really enjoy this, and I can see this game staying and getting played after a 2-3 hour game easy right before everybody leaves, lightens the mood and gets everybody going. So, and then like I said, if I get episode 1, then the variety is just, there's a plethora of different variety and replayability. So those are my thoughts on Vengeance Roll and Fight episode 2 from Mighty Boards. I'm thankful that they sent it. Look forward to more than likely getting episode 1 eventually, and mixing it in and finding out if you can even play with even 5 or 6 players if you have the extra boards. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up though for you. But again, I'm Jeremy with Hard to Master. Until next time, please hit the like, subscribe button. Follow us if you'd like to see more content, see what's coming out new. You can also follow me on Instagram, Mo Minis Mo Problems. I'll have that posted up on the video as well. So till next time, we'll see you.